Shannon Sharpe opens up about his brother's impact on him, but before we proceed, let me chime you in. Shannon Sharpe's brother got hurt in a way that made him stop playing football forever. This made Shannon really sad because he looked up to his brother like a hero. Even though his brother had to stop playing early, he did really well in football, getting awards and being the best at catching passes. The situation affected Shannon a lot, making him think about the good times they had together and feeling sad about his brother's injury. The story shows that Shannon and his brother were very close, and the memories and feelings from that time still make Shannon feel deep emotions.
I remember getting the call, and I was talking to him. He said, "Yeah," because I saw it the week before they played the Falcons, and he had a little injury, and he seemed like he was like struggling to get up. But he ends up getting up and walks off the field. He didn't come back in the game. I figured everything was gonna be okay. He had a stinger, and then the next week he played in Tampa. He had 7 for like $130, $140, 2 touchdowns.
Killer.
Yeah, and so I remember saying, and he barely. I mean, the guy grazed him with his forearm across the front of his helmet, and he said he couldn't get over. He said he was trying to get up, but he couldn't. He said he tried to roll himself over, and he couldn't. And I'm like, that little hit? He said, but they sent me to the doctor for some tests. He called me. I was talking to him that Sunday night. He called me that Tuesday night. "Man, I'm never playing again." I said, "What?" He said, "Nah." He said, "The doctor told me," he said, "I got very lucky." He said, "Another hit, I could probably be paralyzed." Man, I cried, man. You thought somebody died. Because everything that he was, I wanted to be.
It was one of those situations to where I had an idea. It wasn't like it was a complete shock. I had an idea, and I just think that, what was disappointing was where my team was at that time.
Right.
Where you were in your career at that time. We had just played, Denver had just come to Green Bay, and we had played a Sunday night game, I think it was.
93, that was 93 that we came there.
Came there in 93, so it was, our careers were kind of on the same. Finally, you decided to play some good football and join your brothers, one of the best players in the league. Took a while, but you finally got there. So I think that was the disappointing thing is my team was getting so much better, and you were starting to establish yourself as one of the best, not in the AFC, but in football. And I think that was disappointing because, finally we had gotten to a point in our careers where our careers could mirror, because if you look at it, your team was getting better, like my team was getting better. Your team was headed in that direction and doing some things in the exact same offense. So you and I could talk about offensive philosophies, because Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for Mike Holmgren. Had learned, at San Francisco, had learned Mike Holmgren's system. So it was just disappointing because my teams had gotten better, and you were playing at a Pro Bowl level tight end, and your team was getting better. And it's not ironic that a few years later, your team and my old team met in the Super Bowl.
And that hurt me, man. That hurt me so bad. That's still, because I always think, what if?
Right. Would have been one of the greatest. There's no question about it.
Because he and Jerry were right there. They were neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough. It was tough. I still think about and I still to this day, I would gladly give it up my career. Say, nah, hey, God, hey, give him health in it. Let me take this. That, man, it just, because everything that I was able to accomplish, there's no way I'm accomplishing this without him. Everything, the way he pushed me, I could hear his voice. We play in a basketball game, the Jim Crowder, I could hear his voice. Do it like this. Hey, stop playing with him. Take it. I could just hear his voice. We go to the state track meet, and I could just hear him says, "Okay, well, this is what we need to do." He says, "Get your warm up, get good and warm." Because I didn't jump a whole lot. I jumped one time. Me was over for me. That's all I did one time. See, I go and put it out there like 48 feet, and I'm done. I got to save my leg. I got to run later. So I ain't got to put all them jumps on my legs. So it was just, man, that hurt, man. Because like I said, knowing how hard he worked. See, the difference was I wasn't always the hard worker that I became that. I was just naturally, God gave me more God-given ability than him. So you show me something, okay, anything. Okay, I'm good. I got it.
Figure it out.
But he was working hard. He worked hard in school. He did well in school. And I'm like later for school. I'm here to play sports in school. I thought football, basketball, and track, okay, they're school. He was the opposite. He did good on his SATs. He got A's and B's. I'm like, hey, they pass people with C's and D's too. So, hey, that means I ain't got to take no homework. I took one book home in 4 years of high school. And that was because the teacher told me he was going to check my locker, and if the book was in there, he was going to fail me for the class. I didn't read it. I just took it home. That's still one of the 2 or 3 saddest days of my career when he told me, say, it's over for me, bro. So he told me it's on you now. And so we get to the Super Bowl in '97, and we're doing an interview with NBC, and we're sitting down talking. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give him the Super Bowl ring. And he looks at me, he's like,
he had no idea.
He had no idea that I was going to do that when we win the game. And I'm sure he's thinking that's the most prized possession. That's what you play for. That's why you lift all those weights and all the dedication and all the recitals and all the things that you miss for that moment. Because that's the culmination, that's the crescendo of your particular sport. Super Bowl and football and you sport, it's the NBA Finals, you win that ring. But for me, that's not possible without him. And so the only way I can say, bruh, thank you for everything that you've done.
Right.
Thank you for being in my corner.
Tremendous.
Thank you for everything, for being the man, because when Papa died, there was no dominant male figure in the house, and you took that role and you made sure your baby brother had everything. Thank you. That was like, for me, the journey was because I got to live that. I got the bus ride, I got the plane rides and going to the stadium and being in the arena. That's what it was for me. That's what it's always been. That's why I don't wear the ring. For me, the ring, it symbolizes something different for everybody. But for me, I wanted him to have that ring because it would mean more to him than it ever would for me. So to give him that ring and see the joy on his face that he got that, because I believe there's no question in my mind he would have gotten it had he continued to play. But man, I wouldn't. But all that, I think it took all that for the way how we were brought up and my brother going through that to get me here, to get to me to where I got to where I am today.
In conclusion, the story of Shannon Sharpe and his brother highlights the powerful impact that sports and family can have on our lives. Despite the challenges and setbacks, the bond between them remains strong. It's a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring influence that loved ones can have, shaping our memories and emotions for years to come. As we reflect on this tale, it encourages us to cherish our connections and appreciate the moments that define our relationships.